Riverside.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's 2 o'clock. It is a beautiful Monday here in the bullpen. I'm Tony Mack. That is Tricky Ricky. We are looking at Toyota Field here live in Madison, Alabama, where the Trash Pandas play. And we are just a few months away from baseball here at Toyota Field. The Pandas, anyway. We're a few months away from the Pandas taking the field. Opening day, April 6th. But we just announced another great opportunity for you to come catch some college baseball here at Toyota Field. We're getting the field ready because in February, we've got Auburn hosting UNA here at Toyota Field. And then on March 28th, we've got Alabama hosting MTSU. So get those tickets. If you're doing a group outing, which is more than 20 people, 20 or more people for a group outing, you can go ahead and start getting those spaces ready. You can get your box seats. That comes with a little shout out from me, the PA announcer. If you get up to 50, you get that little first pitch action in there as well. So go ahead and start getting your spaces ready for the Alabama and Auburn baseball games that are coming here to Toyota Field here in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's going to be really cool. First time we've had Alabama here for some baseball. Second time we're going to have Auburn here. Getting some SEC love, some local SEC love. So, yeah, man, trashpandasbaseball.com. It's about that time of the year where you should be monitoring that page. Panda news, college baseball news. We got all kinds of stuff going on as we build to season number 3 here in the Rocket City, baby.
That's right. Robert says, I'll have to bring my little cousin Theodore to see Auburn next month. Yeah, man, bring him out here.
Bring little Teddy on down here, man. He's going to love it.
Let me know. When me and Ricky come say hey, we'll stop by and say what's up. If you guys are ever out here and you want to, say what's up, hit me up on Twitter at Tony Trash Panda, Ricky at Tricky Ricky RCTP. Let us know. We'll try to come say hey. When we were on the radio, we'd have a few people come by and like, hey, we're here. You want to come say hey? Absolutely.
All the time, man, really, all the time. So, yeah, come on out, find us. But go get your tickets now so you can get you some good seats before we get closer to time because, man, tickets are moving, buddy.
Dude.
Friday, you being here every day, we see how quick some of this stuff moves.
Within the hour, we announced the Bama game. People were already calling into our office and booking tickets. Now, you can call like the ticket office and get tickets, but when you ring us, you're getting group tickets, right? You're getting like a suite or you're getting like 20 or more tickets for the most part. Within the hour, I had a lady, 30 tickets right off the rail. I mean, they are moving. So definitely, if you want to come check it out and get some good seats, go ahead and start planning where you want to sit and reach out to us at Tony Trash Panda on Twitter, at Tricky Ricky RCTP on Twitter. Reach out. We'll be able to help you out. We got a lot to talk about today in the world of sports because now week 18 of the NFL season is over. The playoffs are set next weekend. We have 3 days. It's extended to 3 days in the postseason now. You got a couple games on Saturday, you got 3 on Sunday, and you got a Monday night playoff game as well. Super wild card weekend.
Super wild card.
Those matchups are set now.
They are set.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need an 8 seed.
We did not. We didn't need a coin flip either.
Good, because that was all very confusing. I'm glad we didn't have to enforce that. Because
of the whole coin flip situation, we had some good and bad celebrations from stuff that happened over this past week. But did you see the Bengals celebrate? I think it was the Bengals that celebrated it.
They did a coin flip on Baltimore, right?
Then they kicked the coin.
Oh, that's just rude.
We don't need it.
We don't need that coin.
I will say this, though. I do hate that part of it when you play a team in Week 18 and then you turn around and have to play in first round of the playoffs. That sucks. I hate that.
Yeah, but they didn't even really play the Ravens last week. The Ravens the last 3 or 4 weeks have been the worst playoff team ever without Lamar Jackson. I mean, the offense is boring. They play the same game every week, just low scoring, a lot of kicks.
I feel like we see that a lot out of that division first round of the playoffs. They end up playing each other because the Browns and the Steelers did that a couple of years ago when the Browns finally won that first playoff game in forever. They beat the Steelers to get into the playoffs the week before, and then they beat them in the playoffs.
That has always been that division's thing, but it's a lot more fun when you're watching Lamar Jackson do it.
Oh my gosh. Who's the back of Tyler Huntley?
It was, and he got hurt, and it was Anthony Brown used to play at Oregon?
Yeah, he did play at Oregon. Yes,
yeah.
But that's who it was?
Yeah.
I did not watch.
Yeah, they've been rough to watch for like a month. So I really hope Lamar Jackson's healthy this week, which you got to think he probably is. I mean, they knew.
He's going to play.
Baltimore knew they weren't beating Cincinnati yesterday. One of the hottest teams in the league, Cincinnati is right now. So going to be interesting to see them play Lamar and the Ravens. Still think the Bengals take it, though.
it was probably an extra week of precaution. You play
Yeah.
Lamar this week, and you get home field, and then maybe a less than 100% quarterback on top of that. I'd much rather have a close to healthy Lamar going on the road.
You
than
get like a
anything else,
maybe
so.
a home game, right? Because then the coin flip would have been.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so you don't.
That's
I don't
true.
blame him at all. Yeah, get that man fresh. He is everything to that offense. So
Yeah.
hope to see him.
Preseason, even though you had Tua as your MVP, preseason, your Super Bowl champions were the Cincinnati Bengals. So you
They
still
were.
feeling good about that? That they are one of the teams I would consider that has a chance to win.
Yeah.
Are you still
I feel
thinking
great about him. I mean, Monday night, the game that got canceled due to Hamlin's injury, first drive, they go out there, get a touchdown in the end zone there against the Buffalo Bills. Looked like they were cruising to maybe win that game, or it was going to be a good one for sure with how good Buffalo is. But then they go out there, they handle the Ravens. They've been, what is it, like a 6 or 7 game win streak for them now?
So I was getting ready to look up. I remember early in the season, you were like, the Bengals were the same Bengals before the Super Bowl run last year. Their offensive line was terrible. They couldn't protect Burrow. They couldn't win football games. And they started the season, what was it? They started the season 2-3.
Yeah.
And then they went on this big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-game winning streak, 8-game winning streak because the Bills game got canceled. And they won 9 of their last 10 games.
Yeah, the offensive line is gelled. They've got superstars everywhere on that offense. I mean, even guys like Trenton Irwin, the fourth receiver, got like 3 touchdowns on the year, and occasionally looks like a stud out there. So I like the the Bengals
Dortch,
pick, man.
But
he's no Greg Dortch, who had a ton of receptions this week, by the way. As the treasurer of the Greg Dortch fan club, North Alabama chapter, he had another great game. It's just, if you know the story there, you know how embarrassing that is for me.
Yeah. There's another really good story from this weekend. As you know, the Bengals took the field for the first time since the thing happened with Damar Hamlin. The Bills took the field for the first time since Damar Hamlin went down. And that was emotional. That was insane. Damar Hamlin's tweeting the whole game. He's tweet watching the game. And the Bills traded for Nyheim Hines midway through the season. He takes the opening kick, 96 yards for a touchdown. He breaks down into tears. Dawson Knox goes into the end zone for the second touchdown, throws up the number 3, and then the heart hands. Damar tweets back and says, "Love you too," with the little sad eyes or the tearing up eyes. And then when the Patriots come back and tie it up, I think may have taken a 3-point lead. I think they were up 17-14 when the next one happened. Yeah, they just kicked a field goal. They went up 17-14, kicked it off again, and Nyheim Hines again takes the kickoff 101 yards this time, back for a touchdown. The first time since 2010 that someone has returned 2 kickoffs for a touchdown in a single game.
Yeah, you barely see that once.
I think I can't remember what the number was, so I'm going to say this with extreme caution. But after he got done with it, I was going to tell my wife, because she's a Nyheim Hines fan. She used to draft him in fantasy football with the Colts all the time, even though he was their backup. And he was on her bench, and he returned two kicks. So I went to go tell her. And I at the tail end, I heard the broadcast say, I think there have only been 4 kicks before that game returned for a touchdown this year. Kicks, not punts. So 4 kickoffs. I believe that was the number only this entire season. And then Nyheim Hines has 2 of them in the same game.
Yeah, I can only think of like one other. I think Cordero Patterson took one to the house for the Falcons this year. I can't think of any other ones. But
it's insane. Nuts.
Yeah. And it's cool to see Buffalo start to use Nyheim Hines, through the special teams game and the way he's able to affect it. Because when they made that trade, they already had kind of a packed up backfield. They used Singletary, they used Cook, they traded away Moss for Hines. So now you got 3 guys who are all very good and quick and catch out of the backfield. Hines hadn't done too much at the running back position, so scary for Buffalo, man. Now you got a guy who's dangerous in the return game. And you got a team that's never been closer after what they've dealt with Damar Hamlin going down. So the Bills were already very good. Now they've all got a little something extra to fight for. As a guy who's picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, that AFC, man.
That's what I'm saying.
That's going to be a zoo to get out of there. I mean, we hadn't even talked about the Chiefs, and they're probably the favorite.
That's why I asked you if you still felt good about the Bengals, not because they're not playing good or anything, but because my wife asked me yesterday. She goes, "Who's winning the Super Bowl? Who's going to play in the Super Bowl?" I was like, "That you have no idea how tough of a question that is, because on the AFC side, you've got the you've got 3 teams that could legitimately win it. Like the Bills, if they get there, they're a Super Bowl caliber team. The Bengals are a Super Bowl caliber team. The Chiefs are a Super Bowl caliber team, and then there are teams below them that have the opportunity, have a decent option to upset one of those teams, right? So the AFC is kind of a crapshoot because you have a lot of great teams. In the NFC, the only legit team there seems to be the Eagles, and I feel like they have a pretender moment waiting for them to happen in the playoffs. So I couldn't tell you on either side who's going to win who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I'll be honest, I don't have faith in the Eagles until they show it.
Why is that?
It's a non-tangible thing. I just feel like there's a pretender moment coming for them.
Okay.
I watched a little bit of the game they played yesterday, and just something about watching Hurts get sacked. I mean, there's nothing he did. Jalen Hurts has proven a lot this season, right? But they're down there in the red zone, and he took 2 10-plus yard sacks trying to scramble away. And I'm just seeing those, and I'm like, something like that happens in the postseason. It can go really wrong for you really quick when you're playing a good team. The other side of that, there's no really other good teams in the NFC. The Vikings seem like they're a pretender sitting there, 12 wins, 12, 13 wins.
Yeah.
The Bucs, they've just made it because they were the only team that they could win the division.
Yeah.
So the 49ers, I think, probably the only other team that is good enough. They could make the Super Bowl and actually be good. So I'd say it's between them and the Eagles probably, but I just feel like the Eagles have a pretender moment coming.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm gonna give the Eagles benefit of the doubt. I mean, they've been the best team all year.
They're so good.
Hurts was out for a few weeks with an injury. Then he comes back and he's got to kind of, shake off the rust in a Week 18 game that doesn't even really matter for the Giants. So it doesn't have that same level he's been competing at all year.
For sure.
I got faith in the Eagles. I mean, I think they've looked very good. The 49ers, I figure, are going to be that team that meet them in the NFC Championship. I mean, the Vikings feel like a pretender. They feel like the Steelers when they won 12 games a few years ago. Like, yeah, you've got a lot of wins, but I don't know how far you're going to take them now. The Bucs, they're a shell of what they used to be. The Hawks got in there last second. I don't think anyone sees the Seahawks do anything. I think the Giants could upset the Vikings in the first round, but I don't know how much further they go after that. The Cowboys are really the only other team I look at and I go, maybe. I mean,
they're good. I mean,
they're a good team. It's really just how far can Dak take them, I guess. I mean, they've got stars all around. The defense is very good. But Dak has thrown a lot of interceptions. He's made some bad decisions. He's made a lot of good ones. But it doesn't feel like the Cowboys, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
No, because they have a moment coming where they're going to have to learn a lesson the hard way, like last year. For some reason, Dak waited until his 5th year in the NFL and however many as a starting quarterback to learn that when you don't have any timeouts, maybe you don't run a QB draw with 16 seconds left in the game, maybe.
Yeah.
You don't do that. So I don't know. I can't trust them because of moments like that. And I feel bad saying the same thing about the Eagles because, they've been completely different than they were a year ago. And coming into this season, I still thought, even though I didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to be much, I thought he was going to be carried by this team because it's a good the roster you could see in the preseason was really well put together. I thought they'd be like a 9-10 win team going into the postseason anyway. I have a bad feeling about them, and I don't know what it is. I feel the most confident, honestly, about the 49ers. It just feels like a solid pick.
Such a well-coached team with really good players. They know their system. The Niners, especially after last year, after blowing that game after having to last second come back to the Packers in the snow and then blowing it after that. NFC's pretty set, but AFC, man, look at the quarterbacks in there. I mean, look at the 7th seed, the Dolphins, who have beaten the Bills already this year. I could see them doing it again. Ravens versus Bengals, very good team divisional matchup. Chargers, Jags, Herbert versus Lawrence, and then Mahomes there at the top of the heap. AFC is going to be so fun to watch.
Yeah. And that Bills-Dolphins game is really going to hinge on is it going to be Tua or not, right?
That's the whole thing. Yeah, do they? And that's going to be big, man. I mean, the Dolphins are in the playoffs. It's for real now. And Tua missed 2 games now with concussion protocol. He's had arguably 2 or 3 this year.
It's not good. That's not good. 3 documented concussions for a quarterback in 1 year is not good.
I feel like they could pull the trigger on him though. I think they play him.
I think they do also. But would I is a harder decision. But do I think they do? Yeah. I mean,
if you've watched the team with Skylar Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater, Guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are not nearly as utilized as they are when Tua's back there.
I watched them play Tua when he couldn't stand up in one game. I mean, it's been like 3 weeks. Sure, they'll play him. I'm sure they'll play him or want to play him or whatever. When I look at the AFC, what stands out is the quarterback play, right? You got Patrick Mahomes probably going to be the MVP. Josh Allen, who's just become such a darling of the NFL lately. Potentially Tua, who's had a really good year for him after all the hate the last couple of years. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson's probably going to play. Trevor Lawrence, who's had a great bounce back year, and then Justin Herbert. The quarterback play here is amazing. Then you look at the AFC, and you're like, maybe not so much. The NFC, maybe not so much. You got Jalen Hurts, who has had an MVP caliber year, and had he started every game this year, probably would have been right there, nipping at the heels of Patrick Mahomes to win it. Who's even starting in San Francisco now? Is it still Brock Purdy?
It's Brock Purdy. It's his show.
Yeah, and he's still there. It's one of those situations where he's enough of a gamer to put on a show. There's not enough tape out there on him yet. Probably get solved next year, but ride the wave while you got him. Geno Smith.
Say what you want about Purdy, though. Purdy's been pretty good.
I've watched Purdy his entire college career. I know what he's got.
You hate Iowa State. I see where this is coming. I forgot about the old hate you have for Iowa State. I mean, Purdy's only gone like 5-0 as a starter.
Hey, you know who also went 5-0 as a starter for San Francisco?
Yeah.
Out there. Jimmy G did that, remember? When they traded him, he went 5-0 to end the year. And then
he went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, I'm not that season, though. I'm talking about the year they traded him there.
Yeah, well, he got their end of the year. They were like an 0-10 team when they traded for him. He won 5 straight and then went to the Super Bowl after that. I mean, Brock Purdy.
Well, they thought he was going to be the next starting quarterback. And they tried to usher him out this year for Trey Lance, who's probably not even going to be that great.
We ain't talking about Jimmy no more. We're talking about Brock Purdy. He's got 11 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in his last 5 games.
Just wouldn't read too much into the 5-0 start long term. This season, it works because, again, not enough film out there yet. They'll figure him out. That's when you really test to see when they figure him out. But you got Brock Purdy there. But if Brock Purdy is the quarterback we're leaning on in the NFC part of the playoffs, we still have an issue here. I mean, the dude started 5 games.
There was a playoffs back in the day when they said this Patriot team can go real far with this bum Tom Brady at the helm. Where's Drew Bledsoe? Drew Bledsoe led the team to 4 straight wins at the end of last season. When are we going to have him back in there? Guess what? He never touched that field. Actually, he did in the AFC Championship, played a very vital role. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everything else. And that everything else was the legend that is Tom Brady. So
go back to the list of teams.
Don't rule them out yet. Don't rule them out.
So you got the Eagles. You got you got Jalen Hurts. You got Brock Purdy. You've got Geno Smith, who's had a pretty good year.
Seahawks single-season passing record champion.
You've got,
which doesn't it feel weird when people break records in the last week, and they had 1 extra game than everybody else?
Yeah, it does.
That didn't feel good.
That doesn't
feels dirty.
But I mean, given the year that Russ has, it's just kind of rubbing insult.
I know, like if you're Russell Wilson, like, dude, he got 1 extra game, and now, like, of all the years, now this is the one I gotta. Yeah, great.
And did you see that whole series, the documented series that someone was doing on TikTok about is Russell Wilson going to throw for more touchdowns than he has bathrooms in his home?
How many bathrooms you got?
I think it was 12.
And
I think he threw for like 12 or 13 touchdowns. Something like
it's impressive.
It was a race to the end. It was very compelling. Kirk Cousins in the NFC. Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah.
For the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Brady and Dak Prescott, which one of those will be eliminated first round because they're playing each other. So the collection of AFC quarterbacks is way better right now than the NFC quarterbacks that we have in the playoff.
Who you got coming out of the first round? Who you got coming out of Super Wild Card weekend? Those 6 matchups.
I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna reset real quick. And I'm just gonna look at them. Boom, boom, boom. Go complete gut feeling.
Okay. Right? Bills, Dolphins.
Complete gut feeling. Bills.
Bengals, Ravens.
Bengals.
Jags, Chargers.
Jags.
Okay. Niners, Seahawks.
Niners.
Vikings, Giants.
Vikings.
Bucks, Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Ooh, almost all chalk there. Okay,
I learned a little something about myself. I don't want to pick the Cowboys, but I did.
You did. You gritted your teeth a little bit on that one.
I picked. And look, I know the Jags are the 4 seed, but is that considered chalk? Are the Chargers going to be favored in that game? Because I mean, come on.
It depends how much you weigh the home field advantage of Duval, which is not great. I mean, I'm
sure there's lines already.
But Jacksonville will probably pack it out. I mean, they get a playoff game once every like 12 years. So
Chargers are a 1-point favorite. So it's not much.
Chargers are 1 point.
1 point favorite. Oh, we got some big lines in the first wild card weekend.
Yeah, super wild card weekend. Remember last year? It was a beating. The Buccaneers beat the Eagles by like 20-something. There were a few games that were some stinkers. I bet I can tell you the schedule based on these matchups, like which game. I think there's a Saturday, then some Sunday and a Monday. As far as games,
2 Saturday games, 3 Sunday games, 1 Monday game.
Is Jags Chargers the early Saturday game?
It's the late Saturday game.
Is the early Saturday game Vikings Giants?
Nope.
Bucks Cowboys?
Nope.
Bengals Ravens?
No.
Who?
Seahawks Niners.
Really?
It's the early game, yeah.
Okay.
Niners are a 10-point favorite in that game. The Chargers are a 1-point favorite on the road. Jacksonville. Then on Sunday at noon, Bills Dolphins. Got the noon game. Buffalo's a 10.5-point favorite in that one. Minnesota at home, only a 3-point favorite in the afternoon game over the Giants on Sunday afternoon. And then Sunday evening, the Bengals are a 6.5-point favorite at home over the Ravens. Monday night, the Bucks.
Of course.
The Bucks at home. 3-point underdog to the Cowboys. Cowboys 3-point favorite.
I think that's fair.
So there you go. It's your NFL stuff. Super wild card weekend coming up. And back to the celebration thing we were talking about, like the coin flipping thing.
Yeah.
That the Bengals did. That was a good celebration. Bad celebration that we had. The Steelers. We gotta read the room. Like it seems like it was something that the Steelers had done before.
It has. It's been a popular celebration.
But considering, you honored DeMar Hamlin in the pregame. Everybody got together. They were honoring him. Like, we love this guy or whatever.
All the threes are painted on the field.
Yeah, dude, threes everywhere. Read the room. There was a quarterback sack, and I don't remember who was on the play.
It was Alex Highsmith.
Alex Highsmith.
He was the one on the ground, I think.
Goes down on the ground like this. Teammate gets on top, resuscitates him. They get up and do it.
Come on now.
Come on now. I don't think that's what they had in mind, which is the problem, because you got to understand the situation. It's fresh in everybody's. You honored the guy pregame. You got to understand that wasn't going to be received very well.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
That was a celebration before everything that happened. So, I'm going to give them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go at these guys.
It wasn't malicious.
Like some people will. No.
It wasn't malicious.
But yeah, probably could have kicked that one on the back burner.
It's not that it was super tasteless either. It's something you've been doing all year, didn't think about.
I think they realized it too, because he kind of short chested it. He gave 2, and then he was like, "Ooh, wait, hold up. Yeah, maybe we should just go for a fist bump. Maybe do the old Jared Allen, do the old hog tie.
Yeah,
bring that one back. I like that. Yellowstone's big. I don't watch it,
true.
But my fiance does. I catch a lot of episodes. I see him roping steers. Bring back the old Jared Allen rope and steer move. I hit my head.
That hurt.
That hurt so bad.
That sounded like it hurt.
Oh, let's turn the camera a little bit. Yeah, there's a wall right there. That didn't feel
good. It's very close proximity.
It's all right though. It's all right when you're hog tying, when you're working out there. Sometimes you gotta get bruised up.
Oh man, you're out there working the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So yeah, that was probably in poor taste. They just didn't think about it. Now there was another situation that happened in the late game last night where the Lions eliminated the Packers. That was an incredible game. We had like a hook and ladder. I don't think I've ever seen a hook and ladder done like at the line of scrimmage before.
Dude.
But that's what they did. It looked like almost like a screen, and then he laddered it back.
It was insane, too, because of the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown could catch the ball with a dude on him, make a hands catch, and then make a perfect pitch to the guy behind him was really – it's a good thing it all worked out, because that was they had very small windows to get those moves off.
Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a very good receiver. Not even like 3 or 4 plays before, he caught a pass with his butt and the heel of his foot.
Pretty impressive.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that extended the drive and allowed them to run off almost 4 minutes and put the Packers away. But in that game, rookie linebacker out of Georgia, Quay Walker, got ejected from the game because a lion went down, and the training staff, one of the training staffers comes out, the medical staff comes out to check on him. And I don't know if the medical staff guy had like brushed him on the way by or what, but Quay Walker's like turning around and he just kind of sees him and just like,
no, dude, he gave him one of these. Like, he walked by, he's going to, because he's like a trainer. He just gives him one of these, like, hey, excuse me, I'm just going to walk by you real quick.
Quay just kind of.
And Quay Walker, a man covered in pads, looking at a man carrying a clipboard and wearing a hat because he's on the medical staff. He gives him a body check.
Like, shoves him, man.
Bro, what are you doing? Are you going to fight the trainer?
And then, and now everybody's saying, because he did this earlier in the
Stupid.
season, right?
Yeah, I saw a clip of him pushing some staff member on the Bills on the sideline on a play. And that guy literally just grabbed his arm to help him up because he was on the ground. And dude, let's go because he's up. And then once he receives his payment, hey, get off me, dude. He receives a chest push. Like, Quay Walker is actively trying to beat up staff members in the NFL.
And what makes it look even worse is
what's he doing?
I don't know, but what makes it look even worse is when he's on his way to the locker room, because everyone's probably looking at that going, dude, what is this guy thinking? And then there's video of him going to the locker room, and now everyone's like, okay, this dude needs a little help. He's not in the right place mentally, because he's walking back to the locker room, holding his helmet, talking to himself like,
I can't believe they threw me out of the game for wanting to fight a doctor. I saw that video. He definitely did not know there were cameras in the tunnel. He cried himself. I can't believe they threw me out. I only kind of shoved the medical trainer on the field that didn't do anything towards me. Ridiculous, man.
It's like we have for one to fight a doctor.
Bro, you are way too touchy when you're like. And then the trainer for the Lions too, he gets pushed and he gets up like, bro, are we seriously about to fight right now?
He was ready to box. He was ready to.
That guy was ready for it. Yeah, he don't come on the field and start pushing me around. All right,
he was ready to dance. He was with it.
He should have been. That's crazy. Guys out there to like try to work on an ankle sprain, and now he's got a potential of being injured by one of the players just standing there. Crazy.
So, and then another interesting portion of that game was at the end. Jamal Williams in the postgame. There was a lot going on in the postgame of this game. Jamal Williams gives a press conference. Well, not a press conference, but he does an interview on the field right after the game. I never stick around for that stuff. I just happened to be, no one else was in the living room. My wife had already gone to bed. Her and Oliver are under the weather. So they went to bed. I was sitting there like looking on Twitter. I just tweeted something about how, you'd always, who wouldn't want to be Jamal Williams' teammate? And then he comes back and they're interviewing him. And I just happened to poke up because he starts crying. Like, it's very emotional at first. Like this interview went from like, oh my gosh, that is so unbelievably touching, to him cutting a promo like that. Like he's dedicated to my granddad. I loved him, and he raised me, and this ball's for him. And anybody who wants to mess with the Lions, all right, that was for you. Like, whoa, hey. Keep in mind, I loved every bit of it. But this dude, Jamal Williams, last night, during his postgame, flipped the switch like that.
It looked like a tutorial for like a acting class or something. It was impressive. Let's check out the video right here.
Tell me when you think he starts.
I'm grateful to be able to play this game for my great-grandfather, and I'm glad that he's looking down on me, and I know I'm making him proud.
You said this ball's for him?
Yeah, this is for him. And another thing, stop playing us, man. We the Detroit Lions. We the Detroit Lions. Stop playing with us. I don't even watch TV, but I heard everybody already picked the Packers over us. Stop playing with us. That's all I got to say, man. Don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Former
Jamal the Rock Williams, baby. It doesn't matter what your name is.
He flipped it like that, dude. He was talking about his dead grandfather.
Oh, man. Dude, I was holding my granddaddy's hand. He says last words. He said, Jamal, I want you to go out there. I want you to set the season record for touchdowns. And that's what I did. I'm going to do it next season, too, because y'all keep messing around with the Lions, and it ain't going to happen, all right? I'm glad my granddaddy's up there watching, because you're going to need somebody watching your back. When I come at you next year, I'm going to put these cleats in your mouth. Don't even talk to me no more. Rest in peace, Grandpa. All right, I'm out of here.
My grandpa said, Jamal, I want you to go on that football field, and I want you to prove the haters wrong. And that's what we did tonight on Sunday Night Football. It was awesome.
Oh, my God.
From start to finish, it was awesome. Loved every bit of it.
Granddaddy grabbed my hand. He said, let me see your wallet. I said, okay. Granddaddy, you need some money? He said, no. Let me grab a $20 bill. So you can give them to all them haters out there, all right? Because I'm collecting receipts. Y'all been paying all year, and it's time. I love it, man. Beautiful stuff.
Man.
Jamal Williams is a character. Like, if you watch that game last night, he's screaming to himself. He's like Quay Walker, except he doesn't beat up the staff for any of the other teams. Very emotional. His intro, I didn't even understand his player intro. He said some stuff, I think, from an anime show.
From Naruto.
Yeah, he wears a headband with a metal plate on it. I don't know.
Yeah, he's the Kazukage, man.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you just said, but he's a good locker room guy to have.
Oh, 100%, man. He's a great locker room guy. I also love how he threw in there like, I don't even have TV. You're like, what? You don't? Excuse me? I don't watch TV.
Are you all right?
I listen to the radio. Those talking pictures. Excuse me? I don't. Huh?
I don't even own a TV. Don't make yourself one of those people. One of those. I don't even own a TV. Then everyone goes, you're one of those. I don't have a TV guy.
You're one of those.
You read a lot of anime, do you? It's just kind of a different thing for a football player, you know. It's like him and Myles Garrett. You ever notice how
Miles Garrett's one of those anime guys too.
Very into it. I think he like does cosplay or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you imagine Myles Garrett dressed up like a transformer or something at a convention?
He's actually went to Comic-Con?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like he's into it.
Yeah, I've seen him wear the headband before too, the Naruto headband. That's what Jamal Williams was wearing in that player intro last night.
Myles Garrett, when he retires, might become a bad guy in like a Transformers movie. He would look sick. That dude looks like Thanos in real life.
Dude, it's cool though. I love having like the nerd representation in athletes. I love that they're not just all like super jocked up all the time. I like that they're out there like bruising around with the biggest athletes in the world, and then they go home and they watch Pokemon.
The last time I saw a guy wear one of those metal headbands, I was playing in an intramural ultimate frisbee game at UAH, and there was one kid that he dropped the frisbee and then he just kept running with his hands behind it, like he ran off into the distance.
It's the ninja run.
Yeah, like cool. We had a game going on. I don't even know where the guy went. He never came back. He dropped the frisbee and Nardo runned it into the woods.
He went to the village hidden in the leaves, dude. He had to go save the day.
Well, I wish I could have told the referee
Read a book,
that at the
dude.
time.
It's called a manga.
He's going, where's that guy
one.
going? I don't. He's wearing a metal plate on his head. We should probably just keep the game going on. And he agreed.
Read a book, dude, or a manga. That's what they're called.
Okay.
Read one.
Read a book of cartoons in another language. Pal. Grow up.
We'll wrap up the NFL talk here because I do want to get into the national championship stuff here in a minute. A couple other things that stood out in the NFL this weekend would be the Chiefs running a play on Saturday night, I believe. They did the ring around the Rosie.
La, 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 la. They did like 3 full spins.
Yeah, dude, they had the huddle. They're doing this, and then they just kind of spread out, and they go to their formation. They snap the ball, and it would have been really cool, except there was like a hold or something. They called it back.
Yeah, that was the lineup. Mahomes at running back pitched the ball to him. No, I don't even know how it went.
I don't remember. I know it got called back, I think.
It was a crazy play. Mahomes threw it, but he received a pitch. The Chiefs are so good at offensive plays and scheming, especially in the red zone. If any other team tried any of the goofy stuff that they try in the red zone, there'd be dudes getting fired over that. But Andy Reid and the Chiefs are just so – they do it so perfectly with the misdirection and just taking the area of the field that you're not thinking about and exploiting it to perfection.
Number one, yes, absolutely. But also number two, that play also showed that they didn't give a rat's hindquarters about the Las Vegas Raiders.
Watch the language.
They didn't give a single flip about the Raiders.
They always beat up the Raiders. They do anything they can to pulverize them.
The Raiders are out here like, what we got to do to just like get one win before the end of the year. And Patrick Mahomes like, you just want to hold hands and dance in a circle? Like,
yeah, we're gonna play ring around the Rosie and score a touchdown right here.
This is Mahomes $1 billion industry.
He's playing for the NFL single season passing record. You know, on a day they ran ring around the Rosie, pitched the ball to quarterback, throw back over here.
I would love for them to break the huddle this weekend, or I guess they got the bye. They're not playing. I want to see them break the huddle in a game and go, "Hey guys, we're not even going to run a play. We're just going to do just Red Rover. You want to Red Rover it real quick? Let's go.
Give it time. It might happen here in the next week of the playoffs since they got the bye. The Bears are in a really cool play, like a really smart play. Like, you know how all the teams are doing the put the tight end in motion, and then while he's in motion, have him stop under center and do the QB sneak.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was real big for a couple weeks. And then the Bears did a great version of that where they moved their tight end in motion. He comes across, then he stops at the center, then waits a second. And as he waits for that second, the defense commits in because they think they're going for the QB sneak. Then the tight end takes the snap, pitches it to Justin Fields, and they ran a sweep left out of it like he was the running back.
Did Justin Fields get the record this weekend, by the way?
He did not play. He was ruled out.
Dang.
Nathan Peterman Started the game and then I think was immediately subbed out for Tim Boyle, and then Tim Boyle threw an interception that looked like a punt.
Isn't that's not the first time that Peterman was supposed to play and then got
That's
yanked.
the second week in a row.
It's the second time that's happened this year.
It makes no sense. 2 straight weeks, Nathan Peterman, it's like, hey, we're going with Peterman this week. We're good. Hour before kickoff, we're going with Peterman. We're good. Let's check out warm-ups. There's Peterman working out with the ones. We get on the field, and we're putting in Tim Boyle. What is going on? I don't know if this guy's got the yips or something. Like maybe he just like it gets to game time and he goes, Coach, I can't leave the locker room. What do you mean? I can't go out there. I know it's going to be bad and I can't go out there. All right, fine. Somebody warm up TB12. We got to get it going. Where's Boyle?
Lowercase
TB. Somebody warm up TB12 so we can get ready for this game. Peterman's having another panic attack. I want more answers into that. That's a great point. 2 straight weeks he's been a healthy scratch, even though being listed as starter.
Yeah, I don't know what's got going on. And then, of course, now the after effect of football, or the week 18 weeks of NFL football. Black Monday is today, and we'll discuss some of the moves that have happened so far. But going over here to the YouTube, Rick Henderson gets in, and his comment is, Ricky!
Rick! What's up?
What's up, Rick? Thanks for jumping in, man.
Hey,
Welcome.
dude. I love running into a Rick in the wild. There's nothing better.
I don't run into too many.
I didn't grow up with any Ricks, man. There's never a Ricky in my class, or like I think I went to school with one other Ricky, but he was like a couple years younger. What's up? What's up, Rick Henderson? How you doing?
I never grew up. I didn't know any other Antonios.
Me neither.
I never met another one in person. The closest thing I had to another Antonio was a guy, and he ended up transferring to our school like my junior in high school, and his name was Dan Terrio. That was the closest thing I had to met to an Antonio. So.
Oh, Rick! Hey, what's up, Rick? Yeah, I do know you. Yeah, what's up, dude? Ricks, what a bond. Ricky and Antonio is like an exotic name now.
Ricky's an exotic name?
It is now. Have you seen like kids are all named like they got something with like their name ends with like TON, or it's like just like something crazy like light bulb, or like like gravel with a Y. Like names are just not even really names anymore. Ricky and Antonio is pretty. How many little kids you ever met named Ricky? I've met 0.
I met
like a million of them this past baseball season.
Same amount of kids I've met named Light Bulb. I've met 0 of those.
Exactly.
No light bulbs out there.
Yeah. Ricky is as an exotic as a name as light bulb is for a kid right now. Light bulb might be used more often. She spelled light with a Y, LYGHT. There's probably a couple lights running out there.
I'm sure there is.
Ain't no Rickies though.
Light bulb.
Ricks hang together.
A lot of Xanders out there with X's.
Oh man, I don't even think I'm exaggerating. I think I met 4 Jacksons in one day. Jackson's big.
All spelled the same? Do you ask? I would ask every time I meet a Jackson because there's so many different ways. GAXON, GACKSON, just 2, like how people say thick these days, like two C's, GACCSON.
No, I don't ask. I didn't ask if they did the thick double C's for their kid's name, but yeah, he mentions he dropped the Y after high school. I always debate, like, do I drop the Y?
No, you can't at this point.
Dude. I told someone the other day that I don't know where it was. They're like, "What's your name?" I was like, "It's Ricky." They're like, "Okay, cool, Rick." And I was like, "Is that a sign?" They wouldn't even call me Ricky. They said, "What's your name?" I said, "Ricky," and they chose to leave off the Y.
No, dude.
Am I aging out of the Y?
No,
too old?
Not because of your profession. You are not, dude. You're in the entertainment industry. So Ricky's fun.
I can keep a Y.
You have to. Ricky's fun. Rick, it's not fun. Hey, let's go down to Rick.
Hey, whoa. Don't say that in front of my boy Rick.
Well, I mean, in the sense of
don't trash all the other Ricks here.
Rick, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. In the sense of like on the field, the baseball game, Ricky is way more fun than Rick. Like, let's go throw it down to, like, if we're doing the pony hop race, I'm throwing it down to Ricky. If we're going to finish doing your taxes, I'm throwing it down to Rick.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
It's more professional. Rick's more professional, which you're a professional, but you're a professional in the entertainment industry.
So if I become a CPA, I'm Rick. If I stay the course, Ricky.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm Antonio in the business sense, but like if we're doing this, or if someone knows me as the PA or whatever, it's Tony Matt.
I think in a couple of years, so I can keep up with the kids, I think I'm going to change my name to Gravel. GRAVYL.
The Y sells it.
That turns a regular word into a name.
Mm-hmm.
You throw a Y in there, yeah.
Dude, I want to. my next kid, it's going to be such a drastic change too, because my son's name is Oliver. My next kid, boy or girl, going to be named Mystic. Just
What?
something wild.
That's
Mystic.
Mystic's not.
I know where their future's headed.
Yeah, I was going to say you're ruling out head of pediatrics. At the Atlanta hospital or something. Like you're eliminating a few positions.
Yeah, probably. Rick gets it. He says, "It's Richard to you now."
Yeah,
all right,
see what
Richard.
you did.
Sorry, man. It's my bad. I'm sorry. Hey,
see what you did.
It's my bad.
It's all right.
He also wants to know, which is what we were going to talk about next. He wants to know who we got tonight, Georgia or TCU.
That's a great question. Let's get into it.
National championship game going on tonight. Georgia, TCU. Georgia's a 12.5-point favorite in this game. And I've been dreading giving my pick all day, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because I'm going with my gut like I did when you asked me those other ones. And my gut says Georgia is going to cover in this game. My gut says Georgia wins by at least 2 touchdowns. I don't know how interesting it is until we get to that point. I don't know how long it's going to be an entertaining game. The reason why I don't want to say that is because I want to see TCU keep it close. I want to see TCU win. I think that's the more fun option. Georgia going back-to-back is going to be a great story when it happens. But TCU winning the championship, TCU winning the championship in Sonny Dykes' first year, Max Duggan being a backup quarterback this year that had to have an injury, give him the go-ahead. It's such a great story, and I'm a huge underdog fan. I want to see that happen. So I feel like, picking Georgia and saying, want Georgia to win. If TCU wins, I feel like I can't be happy because everybody's going to be like, oh, well, you picked Georgia.
There was a guy for Georgia last year who they said was a backup and could never cut it.
That's true. It's a good point.
And then he got the job, and he held on to that thing. And despite losing to what was the nation's best team at the time, the Alabama Crimson Tide in the SEC championship of that same season, he was able to leg it through adversity and find himself on the other side, covered in gold. And that man was Stetson Bennett. This year, Max Duggan, the backup, they gave up on him, the crafty vet. But when they needed him, they pulled him out on the field. And by God, here he is competing for his chance to win a natty. I'm like you, man. Like, I want it to be close. And I think it's going to be close because that's all TCU knows is close football games. It doesn't matter who they play, how good, nor or how bad. They will keep a game close. Right when they were running away from Michigan in the playoff, looked like they were going to blow them away. TCU only plays close. Let's go ahead and let this team that's not known for scoring points in a hurry, we're going to let them score in a hurry, and we're going to make this close we possibly can. Georgia, a team that I thought was going to blow out Ohio State, has to come back from a huge deficit just to win by 1 point, and they got to hope for a missed field goal and then a drive to win it all. Whew. Now, when it goes to Georgia TCU, I think Georgia wins. I think they're the better team, but I think it's a close game. I think TCU covers, but I think Georgia ends up taking it, maybe a field goal late in the game to bring it out of reach. Georgia by 10. They're the natty champions. Stetson Bennett, 2-timer, legendary status before he goes to the NFL and becomes a perennial backup.
I hope it's a close game. I just don't feel like, I don't know, on paper, like we've had a week to think about it now, and on paper, now that the excitement of the Michigan TCU game is over, Georgia's by far a more dominant team. Georgia's got speed and size. TCU's a fast team. On defense, I think that maybe they won't get blown by as much as some people think, but Georgia, if they want to, for whatever reason, Michigan didn't do this, but if they want to, they can just line up and overpower TCU. They've got that capability. However, the one part of me that wants TCU to win, that's trying to convince myself that it can be close, is the part of me that's saying, well, TCU's, they score all their points in the second half, it seems. They're a big second half team. They've just found a way all year long to keep anything close, including Michigan. People didn't think that game would be close, and they led the entire way. They never trailed in that game, I don't think. So they, I don't know.
Sonny got to play big, though. Sonny ran his mouth about that Southeastern Conference, and if he goes out there and takes a beating in the championship game, your Cinderella season all of a sudden looks like, ooh.
And that's what Rick says, too. He says, Sonny trashed the SEC, got to have Georgia beat them by 7 grand slams. And what drives me crazy about the whole Sonny trash in the SEC is that it didn't make any sense in this context. Like he took a random shot at the SEC. It made zero. It was completely arbitrary. And if you're unfamiliar, Sonny D, when talking about the playoff, had mentioned something about, well, they played however many games straight. They got their bye early in the year, and he was like, we played 10 straight Power 5 opponents or whatever. We didn't get that break that the SEC gets in November, which he's talking about, where teams like Alabama, Auburn, and some of these other schools will play a non-conference game in November. But the reason why that makes no sense is because there were two Big Ten teams in the playoff and only one SEC team. And that one SEC team that he happens to be getting matched up against in the championship game didn't fall under that criteria that he was complaining about, because Georgia was not like Alabama. Georgia's one of those teams, kind of like Florida, that their in-state rivalry is a non-conference game. So they played Georgia Tech towards the end of the year, which is not a great team, but it's still a Power 5 football team. So in November, the middle of November, they didn't play a non-Power 5 non-conference game like he was complaining about. So it didn't make any sense for him to take that shot. It made no sense.
No, it really didn't. And I mean, if you look at the SEC schedule that way, Alabama played Texas in week 2. Mm-hmm. Sonny's talking about we had our bye early, whatever. Yeah, that bye because the SEC gets into pretty good games earlier on. That week 2 was Alabama versus Texas. Arkansas played South Carolina. They had an SEC game that week. TCU played Tarleton State week 2. They won 59-16. Yeah. You're just exchanging one non-conference beat 'em up game for one that's later in the year. There's no difference.
Well, there is. I don't want to see. I expect those games.
It's just timing, though, as far as quality of opponents.
Right,
like that's played them 3 months earlier.
The timing's my complaint. Is that, like, in November, I'm expecting to see like everything getting down to the nitty gritty. So I can understand where he's coming from in that sense. At the beginning of the year in September, that's when you're supposed to play Tarleton State. Yeah. That's when you're supposed to play Austin Peay, not in the middle of November. I just prefer it not to be in the middle of November. But the SEC is probably going to start gearing away from that, because you've got Oklahoma and Texas coming in. They're going to probably they're going to go to 9 conference games, I believe, and they're not going to be able to do that late November.
Well, it's better for fans too if the conferences spread out the way they do those non-conference, because the same week, like I said, Alabama's playing Texas, Tennessee played Pitt. That was a ranked matchup. Mm-hmm. Yes, there was Arkansas, South Carolina. There's some SEC games. The SEC is giving you better matchups where, if everyone week 2 played their beat 'em up game, week 2 would be a painful watch of college football. Like, as a fan, it's a lot nicer if it's kind of spaced out like that, where that week before rivalry week, there's still a lot of teams playing big games. The SEC, not so much. And then on the flip side, on week 2, instead of watching TCU versus Tarleton State 25 different times in the rankings, you get SEC teams in there playing some big non-conference games instead. It's a silly thing to say. He's the guy who said I wouldn't take any players from the SEC because they can't play there, they can't play here, and the guy's got 3 players from Alabama transferring over there. So maybe he's figuring out this big-time college football head coach game. You got to really be careful with your words, because people will remember them, and they will come back to bite you.
I also love the guy who wrote the article about that. I think it was an Athletic article. I can't remember who it was. I tweeted it at the time. He said that, he pointed out that Georgia didn't have that late November game, but TCU didn't play in their non-conference. TCU didn't play a non-conference Power 5 team, which is hilarious because they did, but you can't point out that they did because it was such a bad football team. But that Colorado right? was so bad that guy forgot they were in the Power 5. He forgot that. He was like, TCU didn't play a Power 5 school in the non-conference. Well, they did, but you can't correct him. You can't be like, well, hey, they had Colorado, because Colorado won.
I can't blame the guy. I mean, it's very hard to put power and Colorado football from this past season into the same sentence.
You know how many times before I even tweeted about that or even thought about retweeting that, how many times I had to look up just to make sure Colorado was still in the Power 5? Like, they didn't get kicked out or anything?
The power it took to watch a Colorado Buffaloes game this past year was the most powerful of it.
Took more strength than I'm capable of, because I didn't watch a single minute of a Colorado game.
I watched one. I was in Nashville. I had Oregon minus 31 against Colorado. And I was so confident that Colorado was going to get beat up that I took Oregon minus 31, which is a ridiculous line in a crap game. And they covered by about 1 million. So,
you know what you did? And you hate yourself for doing it all the time. What did you complain about this year and last year and the year before that when we pick teams against the spread in the SEC? You always ride with Auburn. You get mad at yourself for riding with Auburn. You did that with Oregon. by proxy because
Did
of
I?
Bo Nix. You rode Bo Nix because of the Auburn thing in the back of your head, and it cost you.
No, I won.
Oh, you said they covered. My bad. I thought you were saying that
Yeah.
Colorado covered.
Yeah,
by
no.
that.
Do you want to march
good.
that
You
one
took-
back real quick? You want to
well,
march
you
that
took
one back
Bo-
real quick?
Well,
Huh?
no,
You
I
wanna march
don't.
it back real quick?
I don't want to
You wanna
march it
march it
back
You
because
wanna
you
march
still
it
took
back?
your Auburn bias. You still went with your Auburn bias. It just happened to
No.
pay out for you. It worked
No,
out for
you
you. I
think
thought
of Bo
it was-
Nix as an Auburn quarterback because as an Auburn fan, you remember cheering for him and all those happy times. I don't think of him as an Auburn quarterback because he's at Oregon, so I was thinking about the Oregon Ducks and their
Interesting.
team.
So
and
when
how they-
Jalen Hurts played at Oklahoma, he wasn't. You never thought of him as
when
an
he
Alabama
transferred
quarterback?
away from Alabama, I forgot that he was still in college football. I just figured maybe he was going to focus on his career.
That's not
Maybe he
true.
was going to head into the
That's not
business
true.
sector. He's a very intelligent man. He'll probably do well there. And then I saw he went to Oklahoma. I was like, well, he probably should have just started working on his career there because it's Lincoln Riley. Am I right? I knew how to get you back on the same page. Hey, Lincoln Riley, am I right? I mean, you can't
I know
win
you're
with that
lying
guy.
because most Alabama fans claim, and rightfully so, claim Jalen Hurts. Why? Because he started for Alabama for 3 years. Bo Nix started for Auburn for 3 years. So, of course, I still think of him as an Auburn
What
quarterback.
year was his best Heisman finish?
Bo?
Yep.
Probably this year.
Yeah, he's an Oregon Duck. Quack, quack.
Okay, what year was Jalen Hurts' best Heisman finish?
Probably.
Oklahoma, he
I-
finished second.
That's impossible. He was trying to be a CPA.
He finished second in
He
the
was, he
Heisman.
was working towards his master's that year. What are you talking about?
Rick over here says, or Richard, I'm sorry. He says, I forgot Colorado was in the Pac-12, so I get it. I'm telling you, man. And here's something else, too. This blew my mind this morning. I happened to flip on. I got out of the car to go get something, get a drink from a gas station. I came back, and I was listening to Cole and Greg on Mac and Cube. And they were in the middle of a conversation where I guess Cole had been teased by a bunch of Georgia fans. And we have a Georgia fan downstairs. I'm going to go downstairs and ask him this question when we get done.
Okay.
Because I've always been under the impression that it was one thing, and apparently it's not. And they let Cole have it, and I didn't know this either. What is the name of Georgia's mascot, their live mascot? What is his name?
Uga.
Wrong. That is his nickname. That is not his only name. Uga, 1 through whatever number they're on now, 10, is not the dog's actual name. Uga 10, his real name is Q. Q-U-E.
Huh?
Yeah. Uga is not its real name. It's its nickname because it's Georgia's mascot. But each individual Uga had their own name. Uga 9 was Russ. Uga 8 was Big Bad Bruce.
Yo, Uga 8 must have been a terror.
A bruiser, man.
What was the one after him called?
Russ.
Jeez. Went from Big Bad Bruce to Russell.
Uga 7 was Lauren's Best.
That's not even a name.
That had to have been a rough period for Georgia football. Oh, wait, no,
That was right after that blackout game when
Yeah.
Alabama came in there and put all those points on them. Yeah.
Uga 6 was Uga 5's What You Got, Lauren. What?
These aren't even names.
No
These are
wonder we call
codes.
him Uga. I mean, huh? Uga 5 was Uga 4's McGillicuddy 2. McGillicuddy 2.
This is harder to keep up with in the bloodline for the English royalty. I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Uga 4 was Siler's Uga 4.
These are dumb names.
They're awful names. Siler's Uga 3. Old Dan's Uga.
Well, I'm glad they started giving the dog its old name. Before it was just like, yeah, it's Cliff's dog. Uga 2 was called Cliff's dog. We couldn't even give him a name. We couldn't have just called him Lil Cliff or something. Like, nah, that's Uga's second favorite. Uga the 4 is Cliff's second favorite dog.
Oh,
Big Bad Bruce came along and was like, if y'all call me Mike's dog, I will bite I will eat every person in this room. They were like, that's a big bad dude right there.
Yeah. Uga 8, 2010 through 2011. They went 4-2 with him there. Big Bad Bruce.
Sweet name.
That's a good one.
And then the next dog came along and they were like, this is not a Big Bad Bruce.
It's Russ.
He's more of a blue collar pooch. We'll call him Russ.
So,
And then what's the one now? What's his name?
the one that's Q?
Q.
Q-U-E? Q?
I didn't know that. That's kind of
Q Quay?
You know, that's good. You know, you got to give the dog an identity. And they found that out midway when they gave the dog a name, which was just a name referring to who owned the dog. But interesting. Did not know that.
Okay, this is still a very lame name for the dog, but Patrick Lindsay gets in on the on Twitter. And he says, at Tony Trash Panda, he says, what you got, Lauren, is what the radio guy Larry Munson would say when throwing down to the sideline. What an awful thing to name your dog after. A phrase, like a common phrase that everybody uses. Hey, what you got, so-and-so? Well, let's throw it down to hey. Let's throw it down to Rick.
Just throw it down the cliff. He interviews his third favorite dog.
That's still super lame. I'm glad they started naming it.
I'm glad they got names. Good for.
They set the tone with Big Bad Bruce.
It's like Batman. You're Batman, but you're also Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. That's right. They set the tone with Big Bad Bruce, and then Russ.
In between the hedges, he's Ugga 9. Outside, peeing on a fire hydrant, he's Russ.
But is that, like, seriously though, to any Georgia fan listening, is that a common knowledge thing for Georgia fans? Because I don't know that, and there's a lot. Every single fan base has like insider things that no one else really knows, right? Or they may have forgotten that their fan base still knows. That's why I'm asking Georgia fans, is that something that you all, like, that's common knowledge for every Georgia fan? There's one downstairs that's well documented, a Georgia fan. I'm going to ask him that question when we go down there.
I bet you won't.
I will. And I want to know if that's a common knowledge Georgia thing.
Do TCU, they bring a frog? Because I know they're not bringing Ugga because they said it was too far away for the dog to travel. Can a horned frog travel better? Do they have a live horned frog? Did you know horned frogs shoot blood out of their eyes?
I did know that. You know why?
Is that cool?
Because I've been watching TCU football for the last 10 years because they've been in my favorite football team's conference. So.
Okay, all right.
Hypnotoads, baby.
No, yeah, horned frogs are awesome. Any animal that shoots blood out of its eyes as a defense mechanism, I'm into that. I think TCU football team, they play like that too, man. They get into situations where they got to spit blood out of their eyes every single game.
And here's the problem. Like Patrick says, Ugga is a title, like the Pope. John Paul wasn't the dude's real name. I get it.
Like
but here's the thing. Like, just like national media with the Pope, what college football media has done for the last 80 years is push that dog's name is Ugga, right? Like, that's how we're supposed to know him as. So don't start coming at us like, oh, actually his real name's Q. Like, no, it's not. It's Ugga, because that's what you guys have told us to call him for the last 80 years.
You're heated today.
Makes no sense.
You're aggressive.
Makes no sense.
I don't think anyone's coming at you with the dog names.
It's weird.
It's definitely a championship Monday. You ready to get home watching football?
I'm fired up for some football, man.
You want to do an Oklahoma drill real quick outside in here? You want to bust one out?
I do.
I'll be out. You on offense or defense?
Doesn't matter. I'm going to hit something.
All right, keep your headset on. Let's go. I got to pee, though. If you hit me too hard, I might wet my pants.
Real question before we get out of here. I know we're about done.
Let's end the show on an Oklahoma drill, though. But keep going.
All right. Alabama-wise, is there something that common knowledge for Alabama fans that most people don't know, that other fan bases wouldn't know?
A lot of people don't know, but no, I can't think of anything. I don't think there's really an elephant under that costume. That's a man. That's a person.
What?
Man or woman. Could be either one. They got a lady elephant. I think it's just Big Al, right? They don't have a. I know Florida's got a guy and a gal. Gator.
That's your alley, man. I don't know.
No, I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
For Oklahoma, for me, and it's probably for just the younger audience because, it was around in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. But something I wish they'd bring back too. But something every Oklahoma fan adores that a lot of people may not have known was a thing, but their basketball mascot, Top Dog. Remember Top Dog? Spelled D-A-U-G?
No.
Top Dog. That was Oklahoma's unofficial basketball mascot.
Who is Top Dog? Is that a cartoon?
It's Oklahoma's basketball mascot.
Can you show me an image or something?
Yeah,
I've never seen Top. So they only brought Top Dog to basketball games?
Mm-hmm.
They said Top Dog wants to go to a football game.
He was the basketball guy. He wasn't
Really?
Boomer or Sooner or the.
Is that their football mascot? Is like that wagon? Is that why they don't? Have
Well, they have the live the Sooner Schooner with the horses,
right?
But they have Boomer and Sooner, like two horse mascots that are like costumes.
They got real horses.
Well, yeah, they pull the schooners,
right.
But they also have the mascot horses too, Boomer and Sooner, that walk around.
They've got mascot horses. Is it the two people in one costume thing?
No.
It's just a stand up. It's like a huge.
You've seen Boomer and Sooner.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
Here's Top Dog. That's Top Dog. Top Dog was awesome.
Oklahoma just had a random basketball dog.
Yeah, dude. Top Dog.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Top Dog was sweet. Boomer and Sooner.
Tennessee has separate athletic departments for their men's and women's sports. Do you know that?
Tennessee has what? I wouldn't listen. was pulling up Boomer and Sooner.
Don't worry about it. I don't know why I brought it. It's stupid anyways.
Boomer and Sooner.
You're just going to Google pictures
The
of
horse
mascots.
mascots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never seen them. That's cool.
Boomer and Sooner. They're now they're at all the basketball games. So I'll show everybody Top Dog.
What happened to Top Dog? They cut him?
Yeah, they got rid of him a while back. I don't know why.
Where?
They brought him back for like a game or so.
Bring back Top Dog.
I'm telling you, man. It's Top Dog right there.
Look at
Top
Top
Dog.
Dog, dude. That looks like fun.
DAUG. Top Dog was awesome.
Of course. Top Dog needs to be like jumping off a trampoline and tomahawk jamming.
I think
balls
he
at
used
halftime.
to.
Why,
Pretty
why
sure
is
that's
he
what he
not?
used to do.
Yeah.
There's him standing on the goal in like the 80s. Back when Billy Tubbs was there.
Oh, man.
Wayne and Tisdale.
We lost Top Dog with the 80s. He
Mhm.
couldn't hang.
He
was too
lasted until the
crazy.
early 2000s. And then he went away. But yeah, Top Dog was great, man.
All right. So you got Georgia?
Yeah.
I got Georgia too. Georgia by how much?
13.
13? Georgia by 10.
So I say that Georgia barely covers, and you say TCU barely covers.
Correct.
Let's go. All right.
All right,
We're doing
let's
that.
get this thing. Leave the headset on. No, leave it on. We got to get this mic'd.
I'm just not going to stretch.
All right, let me see. All right, here we go. We'll go sideways on it. Here we go. You ready for this?
We're just not going to.
You want me to snap it? I'm on O-line, so I'll be center right here. You ready for this?
You're
All
going
right.
to. You're the O lineman.
I'm gonna
Who
give
you
it-
snapping?
It's going to be on Hut.
I'm
No,
supposed
I'm
to
a
hit.
lineman. Yeah, if you can get by me, you're not going to get by me. Here we go. Say head and go to Hut.
I'm gonna hit the-
Oh, I peed a little.
Oh.
No,
You
I
good?
peed. No, that was a bad idea.
All right.
Turn off the show.
All right. Hey, we're gonna have to go. Ricky's gonna change. his
Just do
story.
your regular sign off. I'll chill for a bit. I'll get this. You just don't look at me. Oh, that was a bad idea.
We'll be back Wednesday,
I got to go
2
home.
to 3. We'll have a national champion. We'll talk more NFL playoffs, and we'll talk more of what's going on in our lives. And here at Toyota Field, I'm Tony Mack. That's Tricky Ricky. It's been the Bullpen.
Oh, I should not have drank that before the show.